Woohoo! So that means if you walk in front of that camera right there, you have to be like, I'm at Refuge. So today we are blessed with our friend Mike, otherwise known as Wingnut, and he is going to come up and share his testimony with us today. I'm looking forward to this, have been since we asked him to do it. One of the things that we really emphasize here in Refuge is making sure that we support the ministries of the people that come here. So we've been doing prayer with Denise on her prisoners that she writes, and Wingnut's first time here, we blessed his ministry, which in turn blessed somebody that was really in his heart, and that's how church should work. Like we should really emphasize on building each other up, and that was the first thing I was told when I came into ministry. You're going to be a pastor, don't stand over your congregation, get underneath them and lift them up. So we want to lift you guys up. So Mike, come on up here. Yay! Remember, you have to swallow the microphone.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Mike, aka Wingnut. Before I start my testimony, I have a brother here that means the world to me. His name is Cajon. He's been a man of God for many, many, many years, and I've seen him brought many, many people to the Lord. So I'm actually feel so blessed that he made it out here today. It means the world to me. We have a lot of history, but I growing up as a kid. I come from a pretty good family. My mom and dad they're still married today, and it's going on about 60 years now. At the age of 14, I took my first drink of alcohol, not knowing that I was going to activate that switch inside my body, being an alcoholic. And everything kind of went downhill from there. In high school, Friday night would come along. I'd get off work, and I had a friend that could always get me beer. And I'd be hanging out with my friends, and they would tell me, how funny I was that night and how everything was great. But without the alcohol, I was quiet. People thought, oh, that guy don't like me. He just sits there, he don't say much. But you activate me with some alcohol, I was all over the place. I knew I had a problem, but after my friends had gone home, I continued to drink. But I didn't know how to fix a problem at the time. So I continued on as the years went by. It was about 10th grade or so, I was introduced to a thing called cocaine. And I discovered I could do that and drink more. And it just makes you a completely different person. There's about 8 years in my testimony, everybody, that I have to take to the grave with me, unfortunately. But I just, as the years went on, I got involved with a lot of things that I shouldn't have been involved in, of course. But at that particular time, surrounded by what I needed was the drugs, the alcohol. and of course all the women and the party. It was for 23 years. It was a party. The first 10 years, it was. I had what I thought was a lot of fun because I didn't see what was going on behind the scenes at that particular time. But as I got deeper into my addictions and more familiar with the involvement of the drugs, um, I started to see the other side of the coin, which at times was pretty ugly. Um, there's you see and do things that you wake up that following morning thinking, "Wow, I made it through that. Amazing." Um, you know, there might be a person or two in here that's woke up in the morning seeing if their motorcycle or their car's up in the driveway. You wonder how you made it home. Um, but about 18, 19 years old, I decided to run off, and I lived with my uncle for a while. It was easy to do for me, and it was a lot of fun because I was allowed to carry my addiction on there, and we all shared the same thing together. As long as I followed the rules, I could pretty much do whatever I wanted. Um, and you're young, you're a teenager, and sometimes you feel like you're on top of the world. Um, but the involvement with the drug part of it was, you can get into that so deep sometimes, and you not thinking on a clear head, you you can get involved with people in situations that like it can't be, they're not pretty at times, um, but sometimes you'll just let that ride just so you can continue on with your party. um, I there was a time where I had just got out of county, and I decided, well, I'm going to go to the desert for the weekend. I wasn't even supposed to leave San Diego County. Um, so we all got up there Friday night, and we're carrying on, doing what we always do, um, um, just partying. There was a couple dozen of us up there that weekend. Well, that following Saturday night, I had got in trouble with a border patrol agent up there, and before I knew it, I was on the ground eating some dirt. And apparently, I took a swing at him. Um, so of course they arrested me, and so I'm sitting up there in Imperial County, not even supposed to be out of San Diego. As they're doing my paperwork, they started finding out that we're going to hang on to this guy for a while. He's got quite a record. Um, Thankfully, one of the people that we were with was an attorney. He was able to post my bond and get me out of there so I could come home. Um, at that particular time, I knew that my road was pretty much coming to an end. And I didn't like myself. I didn't like what I had become. I didn't like some of the things that I had to do. And so I was sitting on the couch by myself that particular night, and I was cleaning my guns, and I took a 44 Magnum and I put it up to my head. And I done this on a sober mind. And all of a sudden, I looked up, and I didn't even say Jesus. I said, "Little buddy, if you're up there." and you're the real deal. I need your help right now more than anything. Well, before I knew it, I was sitting in a church parking lot. It was about 3 o'clock in the morning, and I had tears running down my face, and I just sat there and I just cried out to the Lord. I was feeling things that I had never felt before. And the Lord was the last person that I thought would even want anything to do with me. I was in my mind, I was a no good for nothing, dope slinging, pistol packing, pretty much no good for nothing. But that night in that parking lot, I promised the Lord, I said, I'm going to be at this church the following Sunday. Well, that's where my life started to change. I went ahead and went to that church, and mind you, it was a Pentecostal church. I'm not much of a suit and tie kind of guy. But I suited up and I went. And the Lord blessed me with an elder of that church that just walked up to me, gave me a big hug, and took me under his wing and showed me the ropes and taught me that it was okay to love Jesus. And he taught me that Jesus loved me. And I'm like, at first I had a hard time with that. Why would he love me after all the things that I'd done? And all the things I was involved in. I mean, Jesus would be the last guy that would stop and spend any time helping me. Growing up as a child, my mom, I come from my mom Catholic background, and that might have been a little bit more of my way of thinking that the Lord would not want nothing to do with me. Because, I don't know, it's just, coming from that particular background, I was scared to death at that church and confession and stuff like that. Mainly, I didn't really understand it, and being afraid of it, I didn't really want to understand it. But the man that helped me, his name was John. And, I spent 15 years in that church. I entered a program, a drug and alcohol program that was part of that church. And my sobriety started. And as the years rolled by, I started to realize that, hey, the Lord can love a guy like me. I had to learn how to love myself first, though. Like I told you before, I didn't like myself for so many years because of what I had become. I was ashamed of myself. But the more the Lord worked in my heart, and my friend, that elder, he taught me, he said, give the Lord all that stuff that you're carrying. And I thought, well, why would he want all that stuff? It's horrible. And he said, just that's what the Lord wants. The more you give him, the more he's going to give you back. So little by little, I started to let some of that stuff go. The stuff that gave me nightmares, the stuff that I couldn't get out of my mind. Some of the horrible things I started to give up to him. Things I couldn't repeat out in the world that I had seen and done. So, as he started to work in my heart, I started to see that, wow, this is the real thing. This is the real deal. And mind you, this was a Pentecostal church, and they kind of had a dress code there. But I was so hungry for the Lord and this new feeling I had in my heart. The suit didn't bother me. But about 2 years after I started going to that church, this is how the Lord was working. I was told that the sheriffs were looking for me. And it was over the incident that happened up in Imperial County a few years back, because after I had my bail posted, I never went back for my hearing. because I knew I was looking at some time. Meanwhile, back at the church, I had 2 years into this drug and alcohol program. So I asked the teacher, I said, will you write me a letter so I could show the judge that I'm doing better? So he wrote that letter for me, and I called my father up, and I asked him if he'd take me up there, because I figured they were going to hang on to me. They were going to not let me come home. So all I had was that letter. I hung on to that thing so tight on the way up there. As I walked in the door, the bailiff was standing there, and I handed him that letter, and I asked him, I said, could you please give this to the judge? Oh, my name got called up, and the judge was looking at the letter, and he'd look at me, and he'd look at the letter, and he'd look at me again, and he kind of had my background off to the other side, and he looked at me and he said, Mr. Alford, it looks like you're trying to get your life back together, so I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to drop all the charges. We're going to give you a couple years probation, and we're going to let you go home. That was something that I knew the Lord had his hands all over that, because I was looking at a minimum of 8 to 10 years. Minimum. And to be able to go home, that had the Lord's hands all over it. So I got home. I couldn't wait to tell everybody in the program. And as the years went on in that program, I ended up getting certified, and I ended up teaching that program myself. And I got to be on the other side of the coin. I got to see the people come in, and I got to see the problems, and I got to teach them about the Lord. And I learned it didn't matter what they were going through. If you let a little bit of Jesus come in, it would sure go a long ways. And sometimes the easiest thing is the hardest thing to do in life. One little piece of Jesus can go so far. So as the years rolled on, 15 years had gone by. I was at that church every Sunday, and I was in the Bible studies every Tuesday, and I taught the program, and it felt like I was doing something finally. I was baptized in Jesus' name. I received the Holy Ghost. And for an old run-out biker like me, I still look back, and I see the love of the Lord. And he, like I say, he took a guy like me. And if he can take somebody like me and turn me around the way he's done, he can do it for anybody, anytime, anywhere. The brother I have with me today, he he knows a lot of my background, and him and I have both seen other sides that we just, it's stuff you just don't talk about. It's just stuff you're just thankful you lived through. Having him here today is it's such a blessing to me. It makes the day extra special, and I know the Lord there again had his hands all over it. This is a brother over here, not to get off the subject too much, but this is a brother that was left on his deathbed, left all alone, and I'd go up and pray for him. And that's a brother that kept the faith and kept the Lord in his heart. Anybody else would have never, without the Lord, they wouldn't have made it. There's no way. But like my brother kept the faith, I kept the faith. And we just kept moving forward. Don't look back, move forward. And the more we done that, the more things changed. And we see how the Lord has worked in our lives and in our hearts. And I stand here today because the Lord kept me from pulling the trigger that night. I'll share a story that just momentarily. We had to go do something. I was kind of ordered to go do it. I had to go collect some money from somebody, and I used to call it a roll up back in the day. And as we kicked the door in, I was hit with a gun right between the eyes. And I hated myself so bad at that time. I put my hands on that gun and I pushed it closer into my head, and I pulled the trigger, and the gun didn't go off. I carried that bullet in my pocket for years. Might be a silly thing to people, but it was just a reminder that even back then, the Lord was there. Even if I didn't see him, even if I didn't feel him, he was there. And he was just waiting for me to let go and let God. I hung on to all that stuff for so long. And the more I hung on to, the more I drank. And the more I used drugs to numb myself from everything that was going on. And then about 15 years into that party, it wasn't much fun anymore. But I was locked into it. And you're an asset to that particular group when you're in and doing what you're supposed to do. But when you're released, you become a threat. And most people left in a pine box. I was blessed. There again, I was able to go and learn about the Lord. And there, once again, the man that let me go, I don't know if he ever found the Lord or not. But I know the Lord was all over it that day, because there again, I wouldn't be standing here if he wasn't. And once again, why me? I said that so many times in my life. Why me? Why, Lord? Why me? Well, after spending those years in that church and just being so full of the Lord and so happy inside, the Lord called me back in. And he wanted me to go back into the motorcycle world. And he wanted me to help the ones that were hurt and the ones that were lost. And I mentioned last time I was up here, I didn't really matter much what colors they may have on or where they come from. They all hurt at times. We're human. At first, I didn't want to go back in. I struggled with it. I fought the Lord a long time about that. I'm like, Lord, why? Why are you putting me back into what I come out of? But after I started to see progress, I started to see why. The Lord was allowing me to go in and take one of his children out of them situations so they would have a chance to learn about the Lord. My brother that's here, we went to a clubhouse here in El Cajon years back. And kind of circled up around the vice president and gave him a Bible. We weren't supposed to kind of, you don't go into those kind of places and talk about the Lord. I think we were kind of warned about that when we walked in. But anyways, we Gave that man that Bible, and we seen him tear up, and that taught me that it doesn't matter where you are. The Lord's going to do His work. He's going to do it, and there's no stopping Him. And that charged me up, boy, to see that happen. Then the following day, we were up at Mount Soledad, New York, Mike, and a bunch of people were up, bikers. The parking lot was packed with bikers. And we hear a motorcycle coming up the hill. And it was him. And that just done something to my heart. That to see that man come up and listen to us talk about Jesus was amazing. It was absolutely amazing. And that just, there's things like that. Like right now, I just get charged up. I start to shake sometimes because I just get so charged up with the Lord. And when those things happen, to see the power that Jesus has, it's amazing. And if there's anybody out there that's going through stuff and they just want to give up, don't. All you need is a little bit of Jesus and a little bit of hope, and that will start your journey. And if you allow the Lord to come into your heart, He'll work on you. It doesn't matter if it takes 10 minutes, 10 years, 20 years. It doesn't matter. As long as He's working on you, you're going to be somebody when He's done. And He'll heal you, and He'll allow you to spread the word, just like I've had that chance to spread the word. And it's not me. The Lord just uses me as a vessel. That's how I see it. I give Him all the credit for every single person that's come to the Lord, that from words that have been spoken out of my mouth. My brother, I've seen people gravitate to him, and I've seen him just with one simple little word bring somebody to the Lord. It's just that quick. And that just keeps me going. And I'm never going to stop. I'm going to continue to do this till I just can't do it no more. And if something happens along the way, hey, what's the worst thing that can happen? I can go home and see the Lord. Nobody could inflict any more pain on me that I've already gone through out here in this world. I mean, I've already been there, done that. So if somebody wants to hurt me out here in the world, I'll bless them with the word of the Lord. This old guy put his guns away and picked up his Bible. And I've been blessed to travel. We've had circled up in parking lots in other states, and we've had people come into our circle because they see us praying. You know, what are these bikers doing? What are they talking about? And then they find out we're talking about Jesus. It kind of throws them back a little bit. They see the leather and they see the patch, and they don't even look and see what it really says. They just see it and figure, oh, those are just a bunch of bikers. Sometimes they'll go out of their way to walk around us. We used to hold a Bible study out in at a Starbucks over there by Dave and Buster's. Me and quite a few people, Warriors of the Cross, and there was a bunch of people there that we'd just sit outside, have a Bible study. And you'd be surprised how many people would come up and just ask what we were doing, and how they were thrown back when they found out we were talking about Jesus. And we offered them a seat. You know, come on, sit down. You know, is there something we can help you with? Something we can do for you? And they were amazed, as I was. as I went through my walk. Um, it's a blessing that like I say, I'm standing here. Thank you, Brian, for giving me this opportunity. And like I said, if there's just one little word or somebody that's just going through some things, as hard as it may seem, it's actually easy to give it to the Lord. Just find a little place somewhere and talk to him. There's no special way you got to pray to God. There's no special way you got to do anything. He wants to be your friend. So talk to him. And I promise you, he will answer you back. Now, sometimes he may not give you the answer you want, but he'll answer you back. And he'll guide you on the right path. It's like, like I say, I stand here today because he's done all that with me. And I still got a long ways to go. But right now, it's such a blessing to be able to go somewhere, whether I'm on the motorcycle or not. I still carry God right here. He's in the heart. And that's what he wants from everybody, is that heart. That heart that's been broken and stepped on and hurt and torn to pieces. That's what he wants. He wants it so we can fix it and slowly work on you and make it better. There's no other way to really put that, I don't think. But there's so many things, so many stories, so many blessed things that have happened in my sobriety, which is coming up on 23 years now. 23 years of being clean and sober. I had nothing to do with it. Jesus done it all, and I give it all. I give him all the credit, because Mike didn't do none of that. All Mike did was let go and let God. That's all I did. And everything changed. Everything slowly got better. I haven't been in trouble with the law in over 20 years since I've been clean and sober. Isn't that kind of funny how that works? I don't go to court worried about seeing the same judge again like I used to, because they kind of knew me pretty good, unfortunately. But it doesn't matter. One little message: it doesn't matter where you're at. It doesn't matter what you're doing. You could reach out and you can help somebody. There's a lot of people out there that hurt. A lot of people we walk by every day that we have no idea how bad they hurt. And they're searching for something. And when you're walking around with Jesus in your heart, people will gravitate towards that because they're going to see it and they're going to feel something. And they're going to want it. They may not know how to get it, but they're going to want it. And the Lord will bless you if you bless them by telling them about the Lord. And just think about, we're all the Lord's children. All of us. It don't matter what we're doing. Like I say, what we've done, what we've been through. All the Lord wants at the end of the day is his children to be happy and full of his love and us carrying the word. Who's going to do it if we don't? This world, as everybody knows, isn't very friendly sometimes. And there's sometimes we can't talk about the Lord depending on where we're at. Some workplaces don't allow you to do it. You get in trouble for it. But there's always a time that you have a chance. Like I say, you keep the Lord in your heart, you keep walking with the Lord, he's going to send people to you. And you're going to be able to bless them with the Lord's word, and you're going to be able to watch them grow. That's the fun part about a lot of that. Kevin and I and Denise, everybody in here has probably watched somebody grow after the Lord comes into their heart. It's just an amazing thing to watch. Um, and it don't matter if they're big or bad or where they come from. Sometimes the scroungier the better, because you get to see them clean up and you get to see them walk that walk with the Lord. And perfection, well, none of us are going to be perfect, but the Lord just wants us to try. And the little we give Him, He'll give us back tenfold. He'll do it. Like there again, He done it for me, and I didn't deserve any of it. None of it. I was afraid of it. But all that didn't matter to Him. He saved me anyways. And I was kicking and screaming and fighting all the way through it. And I didn't want it. I didn't want to be who I was, but I didn't know I was afraid of the Lord too. In the beginning. But now I'm glad that I chose the Lord. I didn't have much longer to live doing what I was doing. It was just a matter of time. I see so many people from having their bodies shut down from the alcohol, or overdosing on the drugs. I pulled needles out of my uncle's arm at times when he had done too much. Put a blanket over him and prayed that he'd be alive in the morning. And watching him die little by little, that really scared me because I knew I was following right behind him. And in that particular time, I didn't know how to fix it. So I just kind of rolled with the punches and put on the happy face and went on with the day. The devil, he's like all the parties and all that kind of stuff. The devil, he'll give you all that for a while. But the Lord will give you something a whole lot better than that. I've had so much fun being sober. I remember what I do now during the day. I don't wake up with a hangover anymore. I wake up thinking about the Lord. I get to do Bible study. I'll call Denise sometimes and we'll Bible study over the phone. Things like that I never thought I'd have a chance to do. I've got this brother over here that he means the world to me. And I know, like I said, I know the Lord's all over him being here today. I called him, what was it, early part of the week. Told you about the church and what was going on, and kind of charged you up a little bit. And when he told me he was coming, I was amazed. I was amazed, and been thanking Jesus ever since. Boy, there's just so much to say, so many things that have happened, but the best way just to round it up is just don't give up. Those words, just don't give up. There's hope. There's a chance. Doesn't matter what situation you're in. Doesn't matter where you're at. Call Jesus. Call him into your heart and just watch and see what happens. I wouldn't be saying that if it wasn't true. Like I said again, he done it for me. And if he'll do it for me, he'll do it for anybody. Without a doubt. Without a doubt. I've met a lot of good people in churches. I've been to quite a few of them. I've ridden for some bike groups since I've been sober. Kevin and I have ridden for bike groups since we've been sober. And since our life started over again, Um, and the Lord just He'll put everybody where He could use you best. It don't matter if you're in a supermarket shopping, you can tell somebody about the Lord right there. You can save somebody anywhere, anywhere. And it's just one small little word, one little something that they're searching for, one little piece of whatever it is. If it's anointed by the Lord, it's done, and then the journey begins. Um, I'm overwhelmed right now. I'm like, sometimes you just get lost for words, and sometimes it's hard to put a word on the Lord. When you're trying to explain things, because there's really no words good enough when it comes to the Lord. Really, a word don't really do it. Hard to explain, but um, my friend that the Lord sent to me, we buried him about middle part of last year, was it? And I'll just never forget the smile that was always on his face. I'll never forget the people that he brought to the Lord, and I'll never forget the first time he gave me that big hug and took me under his wing. And it was like, come on, follow me. I'll show you the way. And it's not as hard as you think it is. It's so easy. It's hard. If that makes any sense. But now I know that man. If anybody saved a chair for me up in heaven, it's him. He was sold out on Jesus. And that was a hard day to see him go. But on the other side of the coin, it was a blessed day because he wasn't sick no more. And he got to go back home to be with Jesus. And man, you can't beat that. I mean, you think about that. It's all the wrongs and all the bad things in the world. And we have a chance to go spend eternity, not weeks, not months, not years, eternity with Jesus. You can't, it's kind of hard to wrap your head around that, forever and forever. It's just hard to believe that the Lord has that out there for us. And it's there for everybody that wants it. I'm just so, like I say, I just feel so blessed, and every word that I say today, everything that I do here today is not me. It's the Lord. He gets all the credit for everything that's done. I'm just a vessel. I'm just somebody He'll use at times to go take care of one of His kids, one of His children that are hurt. And it's an honor to be able to do that. It's an honor. I wouldn't trade that for nothing. Now that I know what Jesus can do, now that I know how He can fix your broken heart, and all the miracles that I've seen Him do, there's no turning back for me. No way. I'd never go back to where I was. It's not even an option anymore because there's too much Jesus in my heart to even think about it. The only time I go back into that world is when I'm sent in. and doing the Lord's work. You know, I'll ride with them. I love my brothers, and I love them all out there. Like, I don't care if they're right or not. They're all people too. And when you hear a motorcycle going down the street, or you see a biker, you know, just remember, look through the colors, look through all that leather, and just remember, he's got a heart, just like all of us do. And anybody that's got a heart has a chance to experience Jesus here on earth. And it's just a wonderful. There again, there's no words for it. There's no words for it at all. But I want to thank everybody for giving me this opportunity to tell a little bit about my life and my little bit about my story. I know the Lord. He wants everybody just to feel his love. He wants everybody to experience that. Because once you do, it's something that you'll never forget, even if it's just a little piece. That's all you need. A little piece of Jesus, and you're done. You're ready. You're ready to go on your journey. Everybody sitting in here, you know, I'm sure everybody here has seen a miracle at one time of their life, or been saved from their own, you know, wrongdoings, or Lord knows I have. But once again, I wanted to say thank you, Brian, for this opportunity. Thank you, everybody out there. If one of these words that helps you, then, you know, I have to say thank you, Jesus, for that. And thanks, everybody, for being here today. This is, it's an honor. It's definitely an honor. And once again, thanks, brother, for taking that 2-hour ride out here. That means more than you'll ever know. And, you know, thank you, Denise, for praying. That's a girl that'll pray. I call her up many times before I go into battle to go help somebody, and I'll ask her to get the prayer going. And it works. It works. It puts on that armor. So you can go out and fight the devil, and go out and get a chance to save somebody, you know. And, she's probably got tired of me a few times, calling her all the time, asking for prayer again. So, there's somebody that we're trying to help now that she was my first wife's cousin, and Denise is very familiar with me going over there trying to help her. She's an alcoholic and an addict, and she's so far gone that last time I went over there to pray for her, she was wearing a diaper, and she's 50 years old. Because she'd be so drunk she couldn't get off the couch to use the bathroom. So, but no matter how bad she may look now, there's hope. That she can be saved. She knows the Lord. She comes from the family of preachers and pastors. But right now she's going through it. But it's a blessing to be able to help her and to be there. And one day I might get that chance to see her sober and give her a hug, and just see that miracle happen. And if we stick with it, it will. So I think I'll leave it at that. And Once again, thank you for this opportunity. It's a blessing. And thanks again, Brian. Thanks for everybody for being here. Thank you.
Amen. All right, everybody at home, thank you for tuning in. Goodbye.